Today we celebrate the feast of St. Peter Claver. St. Peter was a Jesuit. I was stationed for a few years in Harlem. And in the front vestibule of the rectory, there was a picture, and I assumed it was Jesus. And I thought, isn't this wonderful African-American community? And so they have a depiction of Jesus as black, which, by the way, is just as accurate as the Errol Flynn version of Jesus that we had in my church growing up. I don't think Jesus looked like Errol Flynn. I also don't think that he looked like Martin de Porres. However, the picture wasn't Jesus, it was Martin de Porres. I looked at Martin de Porres and I saw Jesus. The poor slaves that Peter Claver ministered to, they saw him, but they saw Jesus. And there was a reading from a letter of his in the breviary this morning. And typical 1960s social justice kind of guy that I am, he talks about helping the slaves who are sick or who are dying. And as he's speaking to them and as he's feeding them and helping them along, he's also giving them baptismal instruction. And for those who are willing, he baptized them. And that little part of my brain in the back of my head says, well, that's not fair. One, you're patching them up just to go back and be slaves. What good is that? And the other thing I said is, instead of catechizing them, you should be giving them more food or helping them to escape. And so two thoughts. One, it was good to help an individual slave. St. Peter Claver probably could not change the whole system, nor could he rescue every slave. And those he did help, they still ended up being slaves. But they experienced their own humanity in the charity of St. Peter Claver. Think about that. Can we fix all of the problems in the world? No, we cannot. Can we fix other people's problems? No, we cannot. But we can speak to them, and we can look at them, we can interact with them in a way that is merciful and charitable. And they may see Jesus in us, but I think the more important thing is they will realize that they're made in the image and likeness of God. They will see their own value in the way we treat them. The second thought, why was he bothering to catechize and baptize these people who were just going to go out and work as slaves and they would probably be killed? St. Peter Claver was giving them the greatest gift that he could. He might not be able to save them from this earthly slavery. He could save them from eternal slavery. He could give them this new life in baptism. And if you look at the life of St. Peter Claver, this is not something that he did lightly. He did not simply go in and say, all right, I'm going to baptize all of you, and then forget it. He would go and collect clothes. He would go and get food. He would get medicine. And he would go in among the slaves. And he would take those who were the worst off and he would help them. But in his helping of them, he gave them the greatest gift of all. He gave them eternal life. He gave them heaven. And there is no greater gift than that. So when we look at this ourselves, one, my interactions with other people, do I think in large patterns and get frustrated because I can't change them? Or do I realize that each individual that I'm encountering, each person that I come in contact today, that person is my opportunity to bring Christ to the world? First, by being charitable and acknowledging their humanity. And second, by sharing my faith and helping them to grow closer to Jesus.